People, Deluded, I'm back again. Quick video, not going to be here long, but we all know William Saliba, our young centre-half at St Etienne. He's on loan at St Etienne for the rest of this season, and I know, like myself, a lot of you are really happy to see him sign for the club, but really excited to see potentially what he can do next season and what we can do long term with a potential partnership of Saliba and Holding, or Saliba and another centre half. Either way, it's just some good options. Now, I think with Saliba, like with a lot of young players in today's football, I think the word potential is so much of a buzzword and things like that. I think people detach themselves from reality and concentrate over what they perceive a player can be tomorrow and not seeing him for what he is right now. And I think that could be applied to a lot of homegrown English players and players in general over the world, especially ones that are young with potential. And it's easy. I mean, he's 6'4", he's going to be 19, but right now he's 18. Very good ball player, good, confident carrying out the ball from the back. So he's got the physical and technical qualities. Obviously, he's French. France always produce great footballers, but it seems in the last, let's say 3-4 years, there's been a real gold mine of youngsters, man. You're seeing, for me, Camavinga, 16-year-old at Rennes. Arsenal really need to get on that case, people. Get on him. There's a couple players dotted about, man. You've seen Mbappe, Dembele, all of these sort of men, and Arsenal went and got Sanogo, so it is what it is. But I'm happy to see we've got Saliba. Next season, I'm expecting him to get some experience now in Liga and come as a more confident individual in the Premier League. Now, I think he's going to be a hit in the Premier League, but I have seen bits of his play in the games I've been watching here and there to suggest he's going to have teething problems, and you need that, people. He's 19. He's not the most experienced of centre-halves. You're coming to the Premier League. Obviously, he's going to play against Aguero and all of these guys, but it's the Glenn Murrays and, you know, these street-smart strikers that you really learn from, and he's going to have to go through that. So his last, admittedly, people, I've only seen the highlights of the game in the Europa League, so I'm not going to comment. But from what I've seen, he had a convincing game in, I believe they drew in the Europa League, St Etienne. He had a convincing game. But I watched the EMERY'S game, and I also watched them beat Bordeaux. Now, well, should we start with the Bordeaux one? One thing, I think he done well. Like I said, there was one goal that it was ruled out for offside by Bordeaux, and it kind of showing you what Saliba needs to improve at. But I feel his positioning can improve, but his positioning is good. The last couple of games I've seen him, I particularly look at when the team have conceded, and it's not necessarily his fault. Again, in terms of organisation, I do think there are some teething problems for Claude Puel, who's a very new manager to St Etienne, relatively. But there's not really anything. I would say as well, pet peeve is, I like how his body positioning when he's blocking shots is a bit awkward. He's turning his back and things. Now, as a centre half, you got to take that to your face, man. If that happens in the Prem, people are not going to be nice. But from what I've been impressed with him so far this season, not his body positioning, his positioning is very good. You rarely see him caught out. Confident playing out from the back. Can play on the left or the right hand side of the centre half pairing. You've seen St Etienne play free at the back recently, and he's done well there. Now, admittedly, against EMERY'S, I felt sorry for him. He did a good job, but it did seem like the left wing back or whoever was kind of not really doing their job as a wing back, and it was like Saliba was being pulled into the left back position at times. It was free at the back, but at times it might as well have been a traditional 4 at the back because the guy kept deserting him. But I think he done well. I think his recovery challenges as well. I think he was composing against in both games against EMERY'S, to be specific. He had a good game in that game, really and truly, people. His positioning for both his goals weren't his fault. Against Bordeaux is where I think we need to sign Yashin Adli. We tried to get him. We need to go and get him, people. If these are the two centre halves now, yeah. Now, there was one goal ruled out for offside in one of these games. I cannot remember, admittedly, people, yeah. It was like that. Now, they did their job. I think he was slightly offside. But for me, I was seeing Brandt, Jimmy, is his first name Jimmy? Or Jeremy Brandt or whatever. The guy that looks like Lacazette. He's been in Liga for a while, yeah. Offside or not, what I was seeing and I was getting a bit scared is the two centre-halves in Saliba and whatever, they weren't looking over their shoulder at times. And he was offside for one of the goals, but there was a couple of times I'm seeing him start his run and just get on the shoulder of Saliba and the other centre-half. And obviously, if they're offside, they're offside. But all it takes is a second to be unaware where he is. Ball comes in, they concede. So that's what he's got to learn. And I don't feel that was necessarily his fault. But yeah, what I like and what I've seen by him is it's promising. He can play as a left-sided centre-half and a right-sided centre-half. Now, David Luiz can do that. Socrates can't. So if we can get Holding, Saliba, another centre-half, do you get it? We've got some good options in terms of ball playing and just in terms of young, promising defenders. So I like how he can play three at the back. If Emery's here, apologies, Emery, he's shown he can do that. I've seen him put in a shift at right back as well. So if push comes to shove, similar to this season where you've seen Chambers, he can be used there. I've been impressed with his maturity, man. I like how he sticks to his task. He really loses his concentration. Like I said, the best thing I've seen from him in what I'm looking at is his positioning. Of course, that's not the most glamorous thing for me to sit here and talk about with you guys, but nobody sees the defender that's read the situation and is in positionally intact and the threat never happens. Everybody praises the defender who, some more time out of position, but he's made a good recovery slide challenge. It looks good on YouTube and whatnot. Defending is an art, and Saliba looks like he's still got a long way to go, but he's making progress, man. So, like I said, I'll watch him whenever, not just him, but a couple of young players, whenever I can, people. Now, I've watched the last two Liga games as well, and I've seen Koscielny give. He's not at the club anymore, but I thought I'd mention it. I think he played against Saliba, and he didn't have a good game. He conceded a penalty in one game, and he suffered an injury in the week before, so it's not been a happy time at Bordeaux for Koscielny. Quick word on Ben Shafe. I think he's made 11-12 appearances for Doncaster. I'm so sure he scored against Southend. I could be wrong, but he's making promising appearances in League One for Doncaster. Forgive me if I'm wrong, and they're actually in the Championship. But from what I'm seeing, he's playing all right, predominantly playing in midfield. We know Max Shafe is Ben Shafe. Max is his brother. Is seen as a jack of all trades. Really, he can play. He was by trade a midfielder, adopted into a centre half and did very well. Can play at right back, and potentially there's a squad position for him. But if I'm looking at it, 11 or 12 games played at first team level, 21 years of age. It's probably best to move on permanently if Emery isn't going to give you a chance, or if you can't get a chance, because you can't go back to 23s. For me, once you get a taste of that first team environment, you can't go back to playing 23s where the results don't really mean anything. So big up to him, really. So yeah, long may it continue, Saliba, man. And this is a testing time for me, people, to really watch Arsenal, watch Arsenal's young players, watch the under-17s World Cup, watch young players in general, and work my 9 to 5, because they're actually starting to do me dirty, people, and making me, yeah, it's really taking over my life. So it's really a test of my mental strength this season, people. So I really appreciate that you lot check out my content and whatnot. But I'm going to take myself and my crap little notes and handwriting away from you guys. Thank you for tuning in. People, Deluded, I'm out. Thank you for watching and rocking. It means the world. If you haven't subscribed, make sure you got that subscribe button on. Make sure you check out the rest of my content. Link is in the description for all my socials. God bless.